if you are identifying all of the opportunity with just the perspective of like what these celebrity players are buying, then you are having to compete and find margins in an over optimized market. So because the number of people that want first base is just like higher than anything else, and you're competing with people who have far more resources than you or I, and you can't just like you can't buy under market. There is no under market. Anybody that wants to sell can get full market value and maybe more. So that's not really like an opportunity. And so if you build your whole identity around essentially those cards, then you're going to put yourself in a position where you have to buy them at market and then try to sell them. And if you're going to sell them and you bought them at market and you're going to make a margin, then you have to quote inflated values. And there's no other way for you to do that. And so I don't think that it's I don't think it's a one-off thing. Like I don't think that those inflated values being given, I think that was documentation of something that makes a lot of sense, and we know very well like why that would happen, why somebody would feel compelled to do that. And I don't think that I'm not making any moral judgments whatsoever on it. I'm just strictly like what are the facts of like why this happened. And so if you kind of want to avoid that, I think that first base is not really an opportunity zone for, especially for anybody that is working with less than like $1 million or something. There's much better returns in like modern. Like I think modern is very accessible. Anybody can get a hold of it with a little bit of effort. And when things are selling for more than MSRP at market, I mean, there's just immediate opportunity. That's very easy, and anybody can take advantage of that from the ground floor level. In terms of grading, you can still set yourself up for success. I think there was a sort of the opportunity was counterintuitive when I think that really right immediately after coronavirus, when we saw two things. We saw a grading slowdown like we've never seen before, and then we saw the market growing like we've never seen before, right? So I'm talking like May of this year, May, June, July, right? Core of the summer. The biggest opportunity was there because if grading is a huge part of the market. And I think we all do some grading now at this point, because it does two things. It increases the margin per card, and it slows down the liquidity, right? And so it allows you to turn a smaller inventory into a bigger inventory in terms of like net worth, and then it also allows you to stagger that inventory out over time. Everything sells, but eventually, right? That mindset is very different than buy a collection, get your money back as fast as you can, and then see what you can do with the rest, right? That's a different kind of flipping. And so I think people responded and they said, whoa, these turnarounds are crazy. I'm going to go another angle, or I'm going to wait it out, or I'm going to, do whatever. So you have the hottest market ever, right? You have the largest barrier to entry for new competing forces because they can now no longer get graded cards back in 6 months, except for like 6 months. And if they're saying, hey, the graded market's going bonkers, they have to buy those cards and then grade them. So really, they're probably looking at like at least 7 months, probably closer to 9 to 12. So I'm looking at those factors and I'm like, I'm not going to wait it out. I'm going to send every card I have that can be graded to PSA. So I sent 30,000 cards off this summer, which was a huge investment, more than I've ever spent on grading at one time. But think about it. It puts me in a position where I'm the only person that has graded inventory, right? So the market's hotter than it's ever been, and I'm the only one with graded cards.
30,000. I'm sorry, 30,000 cards.
Yes.
Did you do a diligent like pre-grade, or were you just like, fuck
Well,
it?
I've always had boxes of things that need graded,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Like you can't grade everything all the time, and especially like multiple copies of things. The market was slower, so you might sell one copy and then sell one copy a little bit later, and then one copy a little bit later. Like that happens, right? And now also it's really interesting too, because as the values go up, the cost of grading goes up, and you're paying higher fees on the cards. So the longer you wait, you're going to spend more on grading. So that also doesn't work out in your favor. And yeah, I mean, ironically, the best thing you can do in the worst grading circumstances possible is send as many cards as you can afford to send.
So you put $300,000 on whatever credit card to grade. 30,000 cards.
I mean,
That's
you sell. I mean, again, the
well,
market was
yeah,
hot, so I was
yeah, yeah, yeah.
also selling a lot of stuff that had been sitting for a long time.
Right.
So I had hundreds of thousands of dollars in inventory that was selling that I was like, I had no means to replace.
Mm-hmm.
And the other thing is, I don't want to take this money out of Pokemon. Like, I'm still young. I'm putting everything back into Pokemon.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've continued to do that, and that, yeah, that's probably a whole discussion in itself too, because I had a real epiphany this year when I really sat down with my wife and talked through this, and I was like, the market's going crazy and stuff. What do I do? Because on the one hand, there's a temptation to just kind of like pull out of it and say, I don't know how to compete in this market. I don't know what to do. Maybe I should take my win, go home, and get a different job or something more stable and reliable and stuff. But I was like, I thought about my actions, and I was saying, this is before I'd send off all those cards. I was saying over and over and over again that like I am afraid that I'm afraid to take on this risk essentially, because what if the market changes? But everything I have comes from this market. So if I lose it, I'm essentially just losing the time that I put into the market so far.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how to do anything else, right? I mean, this is what I know. This is what I've spent, years and years and years and years cultivating expertise around and experience around. And so I was like, tomorrow when I wake up, what am I going to do? I'm going to do Pokemon. And so if that's the reality that I am in, why am I entertaining these thoughts and taking, not taking steps because of these hypotheticals when they're not real? Because the only thing that's real is tomorrow I'm going to get up and I'm going to do Pokemon, right? And so I was like, I need to set these aside and I need to go all in. I need to double down again. And one of the things that's scary about flipping in Pokemon, right, and building sort of your career around it, is that Pokemon, in order to really be effective, you have to put everything you have into it all the time. If you're taking money out, you are slowing yourself down. You are preventing yourself from capitalizing on these gains that are available. And so you have to wake up every single day for years and bet everything you have on yourself that you're going to be able to earn more and make smarter decisions and pick the right cards tomorrow, right? And I had to ask myself, am I done doing that? Am I done betting everything that I have? And so, that's kind of the decision that I made. So I was like, I'm not done. I'm not done being competitive. I'm not done. I still feel like I have opportunity here, and I think I still have the best position in the world to take advantage of it. So, am I just going to like let that disappear because
Right.
hypothetically I might have a different job? Like, that's so ridiculous, like it's absolutely crazy. So yeah, I kind of set that aside, and this year I've gone in harder than ever, and it has rewarded me more than ever. I mean, they always say, what is it? It's like going from 1 to 10 is way harder than going from 10 to 100, and it took years to sort of cultivate what I needed to react even to the market, right? Because now we have a massive market, and you're saying like that's insane. Like, how can you just choose to grade 30,000 cards, right? Like that.
Well, I think
That sounds
I think it's smart. That just like it's shocking to hear that number. I mean, regardless of who
sure,
you are,
yeah.
yeah,
But how many cards sell? How many graded Pokemon cards sell on eBay every single day? It's
yeah,
thousands,
yeah.
you know. So if you're going to capture a significant portion of that market, then you need to be poised to capture a significant
Right.
portion of that market.